Hannah Claire Foster was born on August 31st, 1985 in Southampton, England. She lived with her parents Hilary and Trevor and her younger sister, Sarah. Hannah was born and lived all her life in Southampton. She was very dedicated to her studies and was preparing to study medicine, a dream that she had since she was a little girl. Hannah was described by her teacher as a very disciplined girl who pursued her goals. On March 14, 2003, she went out drinking with her friend in Southampton. They went to a bar called The Hobbit, not far from where they lived. When they finished the small get-together, around 10:30 p.m., they were seen by the security cameras walking together on the sidewalk. Hannah went with her friends to a bus stop on the avenue called Portswood and waited for her to get on the bus and then continue on her way home. Her house was just 800 meters from where they were, and Hannah decided to walk home alone. Around 5 a.m., Hannah's parents realized that she hadn't arrived yet. Very worried, they decided to send a message to the young girl. Hannah would always let them know when she was going to be late or if she was going to sleep at a friend's house. But this time, she didn't tell them about anything, which they found very strange. Early in the morning, with no news from their daughter and extremely worried, Hannah's parents called the police. As it was an unusual situation for the city, the police acted quickly. The first thing they thought of doing was checking the young woman's cell phone, which luckily was on and emitting a signal. With each message that the cell phone received, or a call from the girl's parents, the cell phone emitted a different location signal. Sometime later, a call from her cell phone was made to the number 999. This number refers to a service called Silent Solution. It exists to help people who need help but are unable to speak and who are in dire need of help from the police. On the call, the operator couldn't hear anything and the call was dropped. What worried the police was that the cell phone signal was moving too fast, which meant she was in a vehicle. Listening to the call again, they could tell that she appeared to be in a vehicle much larger than a standard size car due to the engine noise, and that the person in the vehicle with her was an older man with a South Asian accent. It was clear to the police that it was a kidnapping, and that every minute was crucial to saving the girl's life. On March 15th, a Saturday morning, the signal towers detected that they were between Southampton and Portsmouth, but the phone was now stuck somewhere in Portsmouth. Using the cell phone towers and checking every location the signal pointed to, police desperately tried to locate the young woman. But just 24 hours later, the worst happened. Hannah's body was found behind some bushes on Ellington Lane on the outskirts of Southampton. She had been abused and killed by strangulation. Police found male DNA on the young woman's clothes, which was placed in the police database, but didn't match any already registered. The day after the body was found, another discovery was made. Hannah's purse and cell phone were found at a recycling plant in Portsmouth. Investigators used security camera footage from the locations where the cell phone signal was captured, and through these images along with the time when the signal was issued, they were able to get a sense of what type of vehicle was used in the kidnapping, in this case, a van. The police got help from the media in the case and managed to get in the criminal in the following way. A TV program called Crime Watch made a public appeal for information about the van, such as times and location. After this appeal, a supervisor from Hazelwood Foods Company got in touch, saying that one of their employees named Coley made a route to the area where the crime occurred the same night. He also said that the same employee arrived at work the next day with scratches on his face and asked to leave early as he had a lot of back pain. The police wasted no time and checked the details of that employee. It was 41-year-old Meninder Pal Singh Kohli, an Indian immigrant who was living in Southampton and working as a sandwich delivery boy. He was also married and the father of 2 children. His name matched the name of the driver of one of the vans they were looking for on the security cameras. Security camera footage showed his van traveling the same route the tower signal picked up from Hannah's cell phone, including when the signal stopped moving at the recycling center. Police officers even seized and analyzed 7 vans that passed through the same location as the signal issued, and in the van that was used by Coley, DNA was found that matched the found on Hannah's clothes. After all this evidence, everything indicated that he was the responsible for the crime. The police got his address and went after him. But when they arrived at the scene, the house was completely empty. Kohli had already traveled from London to Delhi, capital of India, on March 18th, 4 days after the crime, with the pretext of visiting his mother in a coma, and told relatives that he didn't know when he would return. They got hold of his wife and took a DNA sample from one of Kohli's 2 children to compare it with the DNA that was found in the van and on the victim's clothes. And after analyzing this DNA, it was found to be compatible with those found at the crime scene. Kohli's wife was a UK citizen, and his brother, a police officer in India, both denied involvement in the crime. Little did Hannah's family know that a 5-year battle to bring the perpetrator to justice would begin. The case stalled for the next 15 months. Police in India didn't prioritize Hannah's case, and media coverage in the country was very low. The English police suspected that Kohli's family might be hiding him somewhere and helping him financially. This distrust ended when Kohli's father made a statement saying that if his son committed this crime, he would pay for it, and that he assumed all the consequences. He also said that he would never protect him. On July 10, 2004, more than a year after the crime, Hannah's parents went to Chandigarh, India, and made a public appeal for information on the whereabouts of their daughter's killer. During the visit to India that lasted 10 days, Hannah's family held a series of press conferences with the intention of publicizing the case in the country and asking for help from the local population. Their visit soon became a matter of great national interest in the Indian press. Hampshire police, in conjunction with The Sun, have announced a $5 million reward for anyone whose information led to Kohli's arrest. A taxi driver recognized Kohli's face on TV and informed the police that he was in the vehicle. The taxi driver said Kohli identified himself as Mike when he took the ride with him. On July 15th, after a series of complaints, Kohli was financially arrested by an off-duty police officers in Darjeeling, district of West Bengal. He claimed he was working for the Red Cross as he tried to board a bus from Kalimpong to Nepal with his new wife. Nepal has no extradition agreement, so if he had made it across the border, he would probably never been caught again. While in police custody, Kohli stated that he was tired of running. On July 28, Kohli confessed in an interview to a private television channel to having abused and killed Hannah. He said he was forced to kill Hannah because she refused not to report the crime. In August 2004, he retracted the statement saying he didn't speak of his own free will. Kohli was held in judicial custody in New Delhi, India, pending extradition to the UK. The case went through 100 court cases and 35 appeals. On June 8, 2007, after 3 years of disputes, the final decision to extradite him to the United Kingdom was made. On July 28, Kohli arrived in London, the capital of England. There, he was arrested and charged with Hannah's kidnapping, abuse, and death. On December 10, 2007, Kohli pleaded not guilty to all charges. He initially argued that he simply found that someone had broken into his van and dumped Hannah's body there, which caused him to panic. He later said that DNA evidence was forged by criminals who also forced him to commit the crime. On November 25, 2008, Kohli was found guilty of all charges and sentenced to life in prison, with a recommended minimum sentence of 24 years, 2 years short of the crime already served in the UK on remand. Hannah's family expressed their disappointment with the sentence, as they felt the killer should spend the rest of his life in prison. On the recommendation of the trial judge, Kohli is expected to remain in prison until at least 2030, when he will be 63 years old. According to the police, Kohli was driving home in the company van when he noticed Hannah walking alone in the dark streets. He took advantage of the situation and kidnapped her when she passed him, who was stopped with the vehicle. One person who played an important role in Kohli's arrest was taxi driver Jason Lepcha, who was regularly hired by Kohli for his knowledge of English. Jason was one of the 12 recipients of the reward for the arrest of Kohli. He received £367,000. With the money, he bought a land and built a school for unprivileged children that was named Hannah Foster Memorial School in Hannah's memory. When visiting Darjeeling, India in 2006, Hannah's parents heard Jason's story, and when they returned to England, they worked together with each other to create a registered charity that supports the school he built. That was the story of Hannah Foster, a girl full of dreams who, when going out to have fun with a friend, had her youth stolen. Well guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Best wishes, and I see you next time.